So you knew
Mm,
solar. Did you, like, live before?
it's a bit hard to explain.
And while I haven't found reference to solar exactly, I did find research that corroborates how I remember the old gods, how solar was a god. It's possible that that the forest, and maybe even
Hmm.
the mountain, the bedcock, and the temples are out there somewhere. We could
And
find
you want to go find these
to go
ruins.
find the ruins. Of course I do.
All packed?
Hmm? Yeah, I got all my stuff.
I kind of light, but hopefully we won't need too many tools.
Hmm. It's been a while since we've been hanging out.
Yeah. I've been so busy with the library progress. It's almost done, but
Hmm.
still, these are kind of the stages where it gets the worst.
Why?
The little things, they're harder to place.
Mm,
Like, I can know where walls go, but when it gets down to placing shelves, it's a lot more
little
tedious.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they turn your build from like a just your normal standard thing to something that you made.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of projects that you've been working on, how's your leg?
Um, don't know what you mean.
Mm,
My leg's fine.
okay.
I used to do boat trips. And it was, I think that was Mira's world.
Hmm.
That was the worst idea I think we've ever had. I couldn't breathe the air. You couldn't
Hmm.
see over the boat.
Yeah, but that's what makes adventure so great.
Right. Almost dying every 10 seconds.
Hmm.
Speaking of, I know kind of how I get to the different places, but how did you get there?
There.
Yeah, like, uh, do you sort of die and come back like me, or
Something like that.
interesting? Because from my memories, you're always the same, whereas I've, you know, gone through the book of things. And yes,
Hmm.
I'm pretty similar to Oliver, but not exactly the
I
same.
mean, you're always recognizable.
Right. Just a little different.
It's just maybe I just got the upgraded version of whatever happened to you.
Uh huh. I know
Hmm?
I've been to places that I know you weren't. Have
I
you've
might
had
have been
some?
there.
That's true. I just didn't meet you there. Have you've had that too? I'm guessing. There's
Oh yeah, tons of times.
what's your favorite?
Hmm. My favorite one where you don't exist.
Yeah.
Hmm. There's this one where you know how you were solar at one point. So there's one where it's kind of like that for me, but like I just became like I kind of earned it. I went through the motions and like became a god that way.
You ascended. Ooh,
Yeah,
did you see that lightning strike?
yeah.
That was close.
I met like a tabaxi. Hmm.
What were you the god of?
Mm, I sort of shared the burden of like fate.
Mm, that's that's sort of bigger than being. I guess Solar's deal was kind of localized, you know?
Hmm. Well, you see the old gods of fate, they sort of like forced it on a singular path, and me and my accomplice sort of made it so that it was more up to mortals to choose how they could live their lives.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. Do you ever miss anyone?
All the time.
Mm-hmm. I miss my brother. Well, Oliver's brother.
Mm, that's fair.
It's kind of weird because that's the only time I've really remembered family. I mean, there was a bunch of times where it's like, of course, like hypothetically, you've got a family, but
Hmm.
you know,
But you don't, you know.
you never meet them.
Hmm.
I
I've been,
mean,
yeah, but it's been one of the waystones, one of the like random ones.
we should collect it on our way back.
Hmm. It's been, it's been this world. It has some very interesting elements to it. It's not like the others. Like it seems as though, like obviously, the withering. Yeah, that's something. But it usually you can feel tragedy. Like as it begins to creep forward, right? But in this world, there's not that. There's sort of this lack of direction.
Interesting. Like things just happen.
Hmm. What do you think the what do you think the like what do you think happens after we sort of stop the withering?
If we're lucky, I don't know, we get to sort of live normally. Well, I'm not sure if that's possible. My hope is that, honestly, stopping it is kind of a secondary priority. Well, like getting rid of it, in full. I'm not sure if that will happen. I just sort of want it to stop encroaching, you know?
Hmm. But I feel like for that to happen, we have to eradicate it completely, right?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, if
as long as there's life to consume, it won't stop spreading, I guess.
I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of like those of us who would know how to fix it and stop it completely. I mean, it's not going to be me. So, I don't
I mean,
worry
you've
about
done
that
pretty
part.
good work.
Yeah, at
Figured out
holding it
that thing
back.
with the Fey Forest,
Yeah, just
mushrooms.
just not as much my realm. But I mean, hey, when you guys figure something out, I can write a really good detailed report about it.
Hey, I mean, documentation is also important. It's often overlooked. It's a very important job.
Couldn't agree more. Although I'm biased. Shit. Water temple.
Hmm.
Looks like it's been under for a while.
Yeah.
This area in general feels very sunken.
There's definitely a shift in the like air. You know, it's almost familiar, I guess you could say.
What's that up there? There's an island.
Let's see. It looks to be some sort of ruin.
I mean, we're in the right place. We're in the right
Hmm.
place.
Yeah.
Overgrown as ever.
Yeah. It's a bit. Oh, honeycomb. Or not. Like
This
bees.
is a handmade hive.
Yeah.
Apparently someone lived here.
It's.
Oh, there's stairs.
Wait. What? Oh, there are stairs.
Like something collapsed.
Let's see.
A while ago. This is. I mean, it fits the description.
Yeah, definitely.
Such a shame to see it collapsed.
Well,
Yeah.
all things end up falling eventually.
Yeah. It's kind of expected.
The
There's something under
inevitable
there?
entropy of things.
Something under here?
Is there?
There's a box.
Oh, what's in it?
Bunch of stuff. How much you want to bet these are any good?
Uh, I am fine if you want to test it. There's an empty map, some compasses, the Sunblade. Ooh, that's interesting.
Sunblade. That was the prophet's weapon. What's this? The Prophet's Book by Cassie. They, Solar made me their prophet. They gifted me this.
They gifted me this Sunblade.
I wield it in their name.
I am to wield this in their name, but to strike no humans. I am to keep this book and record our adventures. Solar tells me that they moved the sun over our valley and forest. I have seen them do it, and it's definitely a wonder to view. The bedcock stands in its proud phallic glory at the mountain's peak. I will admit, despite its humor, I find a sense of community amongst it. You can view it from any point in town. Even if I don't live in town, I still feel connected. This is where the community is, after all. I met Solar's child today. Not a child by blood, but a young girl Solar took care of in the valley. She is scrappy and loud, much like Solar. She can make a great warrior if she could hold a sword right. I believe her name was Maki. This afternoon, I had the biggest laugh of my life. Harvey and I have been shouting about hunger, and in response, Solar summoned endless bread. There was far too much for anyone to hold, let alone eat. Lady Moon and I then made an underground cave to help store the excess. Jah has invited us to an opening night at their casino. The invite requested all armor and weapons be left at home. A reasonable enough request, yet we were uneasy. Solar advised me to listen, but reassured that them and the Lady of the Moon would take concealed precaution. The Moon Temple is completed! We celebrated today. All the hard work Lady Moon, Nalice, and Harvey have put into it truly is a magnificent sight. They all excavated one of the old water temples and redesigned the garden around it. Their work has inspired me to work on the Sun Temple. I had only just finished the Sun Temple when Solar rushed to me, frantic. They said I must leave, that danger was coming. I could not believe the request. I vowed to be loyal and stay by their side. How could I leave them in the face of a threat? Solar has made me a deal. They handed me their crown and said that this could always protect me. I have sent word through Emmer, the messenger, to the town to evacuate. I must pack a few of my things from the temple and be on my way. My Lord Solar, like the sunrise, I will see you again. Cassie.